Okay, so calculating simple interest, pretty straightforward really. It's a really simple formula to use, and it is this: simple interest equals the principal amount multiplying by the rates, which you usually want to put in as a decimal, and multiplied there by time. So if we actually just look at doing 1a, it's quite simple. We're looking for the interest, so we just plug these values into the formula I equals P times R times T. When we see it like this, we just have to realise that there is the multiplication signs. As per algebra, we don't actually need to put them in. So the interest is the principal amount, $5,000. Multiply that by the rate, 6%, so as a decimal, 0.6, and the time period is 4 there. So when we just put it in, we just simply throw it in the calculator as is, 5,000 times 0.06, and we multiply that by 4, and we end up with $1,200. Because it is a worded question, we do need to make sure that we are actually putting that dollar sign there to make sure that it is actually correct. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. Alright, now moving on, when we look at finding T, P, and R, it's exactly the same process. Alright, we start with a formula, P, R, T equals interest. I've just done a little bit backwards this time, but it works out exactly the same style. So we have, how long will it take for an investment of $10,000? That's our principal amount. Simple interest rate of 3.5% to earn $1,400. So we need to take those values that we've got and actually just plug them into the formula where we see them. So an investment of $10,000 is our principal amount, 10,000, multiplied by the rate at 3.5%. So we put that in as a decimal, 0.035, and we're being asked to find time. So we simply just leave that as T. And that will give us $1,400 in interest. So we basically just look at multiplying the $10,000 there by the 0.35, and we end up with 350. But we still have T value, so we do need to make sure we're still looking at keeping that here, equals $1,400. Now, as per algebra, we need to get rid of the 350 where we want to keep the T on its own. So easiest way to do that is actually just by throwing this over and dividing by itself. So 350 divided by 350 gets rid of that and keeps the T on its own. But what we do to one side, we do have to do to the other side as well. So the 350 divided by the 350 gives us the 1, and then the 1,400 divided by the 350 on the right side will give us 4, which is our time period. So as per worded questions, we have to finish with 4 years, and that is correct. When we move on, this time we're actually going to look at finding P. So again, the starting point as always is writing out your formula, I equals P R T, and then we're going to read through the question. How much needs to be invested at an interest rate of 7% for 4 years to earn $4,200 in simple interest? So we just need to basically look for those, put them into the formula where we see $4,200 as a simple interest is here, and then we're going to have our equals. We're looking for P, So that stays as is. We don't know what that is yet. That's what we're looking for. Multiply by the rate 7%, 0.07, multiplied by time, 4 years. Now, the principle is this. We can just basically look at saying, well, 0.7 times 4 is 0.28p. And of course, the left side hasn't changed yet. Like we did in the last question, we want to get rid of the 0.28. So we're going to divide that by itself, 0.28. And what we do to one side, we must do to the other side as well. .28 divided by 0.28 is 1, so that cancels out. And then the 4,200 divided by the 0.28 will give us our dollar amount for our principal, which is $15,000. And that is also correct. Smiley face once more. Last one. Looking for R. Finding R is same process, but there's one extra step at the end of it. So, like we've done all along, we need to write out our value, our formula rather. I equals P R T, remembering that there is times as times. And we need to then look through and highlight the important parts. We're looking for R, what annual interest rate is applied to a loan of $8,000 over 2 years if the simple interest is charged was $704. So that's the amount of interest that we owe. 704 equals P, $8,000, multiply by R. We still don't know what that is. That's what we're looking for. And we're multiplying that by 2 years. That's a scrappy zero. That's 704. 8,000 times 2 gives us our 16,000. And we need to multiply that by R. We have done this already. To get rid of the 16,000, we need to put that over itself. And what we do to one side, we do to the other as well. There should be a dollar sign there. I'm getting a bit slack. Alright, 16,000 divided by 16,000 is 1, but the 704 over 16,000 is 0.044. Now this isn't the rate as it is because we like the rates to actually be as percentages. So to turn a decimal into a percentage, we need to make sure that we are taking the number as a whole and then multiplying it by 100. And that's going to look like this. 0.044 multiply by 100 equals, when we multiply by 100, we just make sure that we take the decimal point and we move it right 1, 2 positions, and it ends up becoming 4.4%. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so that's your simple interest when we're looking at finding R, finding P, finding T, and of course finding that simple interest initially. Here we go.